All right, here we go, people. It is the 2024 NCAA tournament, my favorite time of year in sports. And let's just get this started. A lot of these bracket videos, I do them every year here on YouTube. I see others, they last so long. We're going to try to get under 10 minutes. Well, I will say, my last couple of videos, the last couple of years, things haven't gone so well for my bracket. But be real, neither did yours. Last year was totally insane. So this year, we're going to look at this. They're teasing us too. Three of the Final Four teams just sitting right there in this bracket. Okay, we got UConn. No surprises there. They're taking out Stetson with no problem. And then, oh man, as much as I want to pick Florida Atlantic, and so will you, we're going with a minor upset there. The number 9 seed Northwestern. Not even really an upset. The Big Ten team coming through here. San Diego State is going to get by UAB. That's 12 versus 5. I'm sure we're going to take a closer look at a 12 seed. It's just not going to be Alabama, Birmingham, San Diego State moving on. Auburn finishing the season strong. The Southeastern Conference really strong this year. Going to keep that in mind while I'm filling out my bracket here. Duquesne, if I have watched the game today, I saw them beat Dayton the other night. I still may pick them. But boy, they just finished really poorly in the second half of today's game, almost blowing it against VCU. Having said all that, I'm taking the 11 seed Duquesne out of the Atlantic 10 over BYU. We got Illinois over Morehead State. They were kind of giving us an upset alert there on the selection show. I'm going with Illinois. They say they got a great player on Morehead State. Washington State and Drake. It's hard to pick. Coburg or U. Again, another team that was getting some love on the selection show. I'm going Drake there. With a 10 seed, that could be a bit of a trap game. My Dayton Flyers in the 10. Sometimes the 10s could be an 8 or a 9. The 7s could also be an 8 or a 9. So not the upset you think it is. Drake over Washington State. Iowa State finishing the year real strong, winning the Big 12 tournament. Taking out Houston, getting a number 2 seed. Some thought they'd be a 1. Drake, it ends for you. You played well in the first round. Iowa State smashes them in round 2. Same thing going for Duquesne. Illinois gets down to business. So we're getting a little bit chalky here because Auburn, they're all business at this point. Now, I hate to do this. We got a 1, 2, 3, and 4 after a couple of upsets there early. So we got UConn and Auburn. Oh, man, these are two of the hottest teams right now. That's going to be a great game if it comes down to it. We're picking the Huskies. I feel like the Huskies were my team coming into this. I kind of thought I was going to pick the Huskies to win this whole thing. Well, they're going to have a tough road. Iowa State, maybe they played their best ball in the conference tournament. Illinois, not an upset really, a 3 over a 2. UConn having no trouble with them. So after we get past this first round, things get a little bit, the upsets fall away. But we do got a 10 and 11 in here. I feel strongly about those, even a 9. So then now we get down here to Carolina, the winner of Howard Wagner. They don't have much of a shot. The ACC down a little bit this year, but Carolina the strongest of the crop there. Michigan State versus Mississippi State. Everybody's all about Izzo. They were calling out some stat. He never loses when he's the lower seed. Well, that ends this year. I'm a Big Ten guy, but I think the Southeastern Conference had a really strong year. Mississippi State, maybe a bit low for an 8 seed. I was a little worried the Flyers were going to fall there at the 9 seed. Izzo, you're out of here. Grand Canyon, St. Mary's, this could be a bit of a trap game here. Everybody likes St. Mary's, they've been to the tournament. They play against Gonzaga every year. You see them on TV. Grand Canyon, you're like, who the hell are they? I'm picking St. Mary's. Alabama, Charleston, I like the 13s in this. Alabama, maybe last year was their year. Maybe I'm a little upset because I picked them as my champion and they did not win it all. The 13 seed, you used to be the 12 seed you had to look out for in this tournament, man. Once you get past those top teams, everybody's pretty good. Although I just got done saying what a strong, if this wasn't a Southeastern Conference team, I think I would pick Charleston. I don't even know if it's South Carolina or West Virginia. See, that's the problem. Come on, it's South Carolina. New Mexico, Clemson, I've been talking about how the ACC was down. I've mentioned it at least once. We're going New Mexico there. The 11 seeds are on fire in this tournament. The Big 12 had a strong year. Colgate, they played and beat nobody. I'm a little bit worried about my Flyers going all the way out to Salt Lake City. They're giving Nevada a layup here, This is what the tournament likes to do. They like to take these 10 and 7 games, and, the seeds are a bit misleading. The Flyers really crumbled down the stretch. I was thinking 8 and 9. Possibly they could be the 10 seed. But they do have Holmes, one of the better players in the tournament. They're moving on. They're getting past Nevada. Bad news is They're not going to play Long Beach State. They're going to play Arizona. The Wildcats, although I do think they're beatable. And the Flyers, if they get hot. They've had games this year where they shot well over 50%. Multiple times they were over 40% from three-point range. But it would be a total homer pick here to pick the Flyers to beat Arizona. I got to pick Arizona there. We got New Mexico and Baylor. Although these guys, a lot of these players from New Mexico, they know these guys on Baylor. They think they can beat them, but the problem is they can't beat them. Baylor coming out of the strong Big 12, they're moving on. St. Mary's is going to blow out Alabama. Alabama, I've had enough of them. Even though they came from a strong conference, Carolina's going to take care of business. No, I take that back. Mississippi State, upset alert, upset alert. Down here, you see, I'm picking against my Alabama in the SEC. Even though I know they had a strong year. They got some strong teams. Kentucky coming on at the end of the year. Mississippi, it's just not happening for Carolina. I'm sorry. I like Carolina. My mom's from Carolina. Arizona Wildcats, they took out my Flyers. We're going Baylor. Baylor, been there, done that recently. This is crazy. We're picking St. Mary's. We're picking Baylor. I can't have Baylor in the Final Four. Hold on. I got Baylor in the Final Four. This is insane. It is a strong conference. Carolina's going to get upset. That's how you end up with the 3 seed. That Arizona game, I don't feel strong about this Baylor pick, but hey, we don't go back. We don't change here. We don't go back on our picks. Now let's go back all the way to the top. I don't feel great about that Baylor pick, but hey, it's a 3 seed. All right, we got Houston and Longwood. I know Houston just lost, but Longwood, come on. They don't have a chance. Houston's going to win. Whatever the point spread's going to be, Houston's going to cover. The second round, though, they may have some trouble. Here we go again. Maybe I'm leaning too much into the Big 12. Nebraska coming out of the Big 10. I watched one of their games against the Buckeyes. They look like they could lose to anybody, including Texas A&M. James, this is the one. Everybody's already got this one circled. The 12 versus the 5. James Madison versus Wisconsin. Not the greatest year for the Big 10. We just saw Wisconsin beat Purdue. They came up just short in the Big 10 tournament. I'm taking James Madison. Duke versus Vermont. We're getting a little out of control here again. A 13 seed. They can do it. I don't think the ACC was that strong. Grant Hill, long gone. Kyrie Irving, long gone. Coach K, well, he is not long gone, but he's gone. Vermont, the home of the rock band Fish. We got a 13 versus a 12. It happens, all right? Over here, we got Texas Tech taking out NC State. We got Kentucky. They've been on fire. They're taking out Oakland. We got Florida taking out the winner. We got the winner of Boise and Colorado here in Dayton taking out Florida. I've been bragging about the SEC. We got Marquette over the Hilltoppers. Everybody likes saying the Hilltoppers. I kind of wish they'd win a game, but Marquette has them. Here we go. We don't know who it's going to be, Boise or Colorado, so we got to pick the 2 seed. It's tough. It's tough with these playing games. We can't wait until like Wednesday to do this bracket. All right, here we go. We got Kentucky. They're on fire. It's going to continue against them. By them, I mean Texas Tech. All right, maybe I'm going a little too fast now. Okay, Vermont, James Madison, it's over for you. The Fish from Vermont are behind you. I'm behind you. A 13 seed going all the way to the Sweet 16. Houston versus Texas A&M. Look at this. This is another thing. The crowd's going to be wild. Ticket prices are going to be going crazy. This is what the tournament selection committee likes to do. They know what they're doing with upsets. They know what they're doing with good matchups. The problem is these matchups never happen. This year it's going to happen. Should probably go back and pick Nebraska. All right, we got Houston there. Not happening. We got Houston versus Vermont. Sorry, Vermont. It's over for you. Houston's going to win that game. Kentucky's going to beat Marquette. Kentucky is going to beat Houston. Kentucky's going to the Final Four. You thought they were done. You thought you had Kentucky written off early in the year. Purdue, same thing with UConn. They lost a couple games in December. You thought they were done. All right, we got Purdue winning this game here. We got Grambling. They're not good. Grambling's going to probably win, but then they're going to lose to Purdue. Then we got Utah State and TCU. That's a tough one. I like TCU there, though. I like Gonzaga here. Gonzaga, there's a little bit on upset alert here in the 12 versus 5, but I'm more looking at the 11s and the 13s this year. We got Kansas here. Gonzaga used to be the 12 seed making noise going back over a decade, I guess, now. McNeese, they're in trouble. Gonzaga's got them. We got a 4 and a 5 there. All right, South Carolina and Oregon, like I've been saying, the SEC is pretty strong. They're going to take out the Pac-12 team. Oregon, Creighton's going to take out. Although, look out for Akron. I don't have the guts to take Akron, but they look out. All right, we got Texas. We got Colorado State versus Virginia. Virginia was, on the bubble. We're taking Texas. I think that Virginia may win that first game. We're taking Tennessee here. A little bit of an upset alert here. A lot of Vols fans aren't going to like this, but that's good. They're probably not going to see my video. We're taking Texas. All right, we got South Carolina versus Creighton. I'm going all in on the SEC in that matchup. We're taking South Carolina. Gonzaga versus Kansas. We're taking Kansas. Coach Few, go home, buddy. You're done. Purdue is going to move on against TCU. Purdue versus Kansas. Ooh. Just my entire lifetime powerhouse. Purdue's getting in the mix. I know they just lost in the Big Ten tournament. That's all right. I'll go with the rest was a good thing. We got South Carolina versus Texas. South Carolina's going to win this game. What is this, the women's basketball tournament? We got South Carolina versus Purdue. What are we going to do here? We picking South Carolina? I can't do it. I can't turn on the Boilermakers now. The Boilermakers, I was never behind them, but all right. And what are we looking at in the Final Four? A couple ones and a couple threes. Boy, if you look at last year's tournament and you look how crazy I thought this tournament was going to be, I'm not feeling great about a couple ones and a couple threes, but I always feel like my gut, let's do it. Let's get these picks over with. That's always my best bracket. Kentucky, Purdue. Let's come back to that one because I know UConn's going to beat Baylor. I have no doubts about that. And I don't know who's going to win this, but can I pick UConn already? I can. They're going to win the title. It's just a matter of who's UConn going to beat, Kentucky or Purdue. Are we going to get 2 ones? Purdue's been coming on, A lot of people picked Purdue last year. A lot of people are going to pick Purdue this year. People are just sick of Kentucky, Although if you're 13 years old and you're filling this out, you're like, what do you mean? Trust me, Kentucky's had their time. Is this their time again? Kentucky versus UConn. If you look historically, there's not a whole lot. Nobody gets to the party often. Purdue, you're not getting to the party. Kentucky, UConn, been there before, plenty of times, both of them. A lot of tradition. Like I said, UConn's going to win that game. How many total points will be scored in the game? 147. That's your tiebreaker. All right, submit bracket. Boom. Go Vermont. Upset alert. What were some other upsets? All right, this video is long enough. Thank you for tuning in if you tuned in. Good luck to everybody, especially Vermont. They're going to need it. Submit bracket. It's in. Look at that. Congrats. Confetti everywhere. The Huskies going back to back. It's going to look a lot different than last year's Final Four, though.